So that's why when I got to 5K, I realized that 5K wasn't near enough. It wasn't near as much as I thought it would be. And so I had my eyes set on 10K because I said, okay, if I hit 10K, I know that'll be enough. And in general, hey, Zara, yeah, 5K barely covers anything. In general, when you hit that 10K mark and you can hit it consistently, as long as your expenses aren't too high, like you start growing beyond your expenses at the 10K point. If you have an online business, then that's typically enough to sustain like one person. So that doesn't mean you're hiring too many people. You might have an assistant, maybe an accountant, and maybe you have, someone that you can call for legal issues, right? Not necessarily on a retainer yet, or maybe you paid for a retainer, like a, kind of the way they do it. Sometimes it's like a draw, like they can draw on. So maybe you have someone in legal that you can draw on for assistance. Maybe you got your accountant, which accountants don't typically charge that much, like anywhere from, $100 to $500 every month to, manage your accounting. And, maybe you have an assistant and maybe you pay your assistant, anywhere from $600 to $900 a month, depending on how many hours they're working for you and what you're paying them per hour. But, if that's $10,000 a month, let's say around 1,000 goes for your assistant plus your accountant, and maybe another, 1,000 or 2,000 goes for your business expenses. So now you're at 7,000. Let's go ahead and take half of that for taxes. So now you get to take home about $3,500. Okay. So that's kind of where we are as far as like the reason that I chose the number 10K is because of the realizations that I came to when I was, reaching that first 5K and then realizing that, 5K wasn't quite enough and that I wanted to get to 10K. So what I want to share with you today is how to generate 10K per month. But before we get there, hi, Katrina, thanks for joining us. Then we need to realize how to actually just hit 10K in the first place, right? Because there's a lot of people who, like they can absolutely reach $10,000 and they might be like, oh, I generated $10,000 in sales this week. So let's make that distinguishment. Let's distinguish that first, okay? Sales revenue is not the same as profit, okay? So if you hear a business owner say, I generated $250,000 in revenue, that is top line. That means all the dollars that came in before expenses. If you hear a business owner say, I generated $250,000 in sales, that means that they are expecting for payments to continue coming in that will hit that $250,000. So maybe they, let's just make the math easy. They booked a $250,000 client who paid a $25,000 cash deposit. That's $250,000 in sales. Okay. Then you have profit. So if you hear a business owner say, I generated $100,000 in profit, then that means that's money that they get to keep, right? That's the money that the business generated after expenses. And obviously there are different accounting terms that can get more specific, but that's just in general, right? So, but typically the way that business owners will talk about profit is like their margin. So for example, if you generate 30% margin, that means that for every dollar that came in, you kept 30 cents of profit. Okay. That's 30% profit margin. Okay. Are we clear on that? Is everybody in the, and we're in the same spot here. Hi, Keisha. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I was showing it off a little bit earlier. This is my first time wearing it and I really, really like it, even though it's high neck. I don't usually wear high neck sweaters, but I'm liking it. I'm liking it. All right. So now that we've covered that, so what we're talking about today is 10K per month. We're talking about 10K in revenue. Okay. We're not talking about 10K in sales. Like, I don't want you to like go book a $10,000 client who pays you $1,000 deposit. And you're like, I had a 10K month. No. Okay. We're not doing that. We're talking about 10K of revenue. Okay. And then we can do, obviously profit is up to you as the business owner, what you choose to spend on here, there, and the other. But let me at least help you get to that 10K. All right. Or whatever your number is. Like everything that I'm going to share with you today can apply to whatever your number is, because I'm not only going to share with you how to get to the 10K, but also what's needed to go beyond that, because obviously I have gone beyond that and I've helped clients go beyond that. And I actually just published a video. It's a 19-minute video that I highly, highly recommend that you watch with a client who has gone far beyond that. And I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Okay. Alrighty. So if you don't have a pen and a paper already, like, you're going to need it. Because you only need 3 things to reach 10K in a month. You only need 3 things to reach 10K in a month. Okay. And I'm speaking to you guys in general, your coaches, service providers, someone who helps someone to have a transformation, right? That's what we do here. You've got clients. We work with coaches who truly want to see their clients get a change or result. So, we work with relationship coaches, health coaches, like health wellness. We've also worked with mindset, love working with mindset coaches, coaches in the financial arena, in sales, business coaches of all stripes and types. And so if you help your clients to get a transformation, then you're in the right place. Okay. So you only need 3 things to reach 10K in a month. Number 1, a compelling offer that you, number 2, know how to sell, and 3, ideal clients who want it. Not 3 ideal clients who want it, but number 3, pause, ideal clients who want it. Okay. So you need a compelling offer that you know how to sell and ideal clients who want it. That's it. That's all you need to reach 10K in a month. And I know that kind of like simplifies it down a lot, but that is truly all you need. A compelling offer that you know how to sell and ideal clients who want it. Notice I said who want it, not you trying to force somebody to like sign up for your program. So let's talk about each of those pieces. And that's going to help you get to 10K in a month. And then we're going to talk about what is required to hit 10K or more per month consistently. Okay. And a lot of this is what I learned kind of like falling flat on my face along the way. I like to call it failing forward. So how, have you ever run down a hill as a kid? I feel like as adults, we know not to do this anymore. I don't know, some adults maybe not, but like as a kid, do you ever remember like running with your friends and then like running down a hill and realizing that the hill is causing you to run faster than you really actually can run, and you feel like your legs are kind of getting away from you and you're like, oh crap, I'm about to tumble forward and be, like all those cartoon characters that I watch on Saturday morning. If you've ever felt like that, that's essentially like the first 5 years of my business. First 5 years. What are we in year 2021? This is year 6. So yeah, first 5 years, I'm essentially just like, I'm just running as fast as I can. And basically what I like to call failing forward, because every time you fail, you learn something, and that allows you to stop, pivot, change, and do what you need to do to improve. So let's talk about what you need. Let's talk about the compelling offer. Okay. So what is a compelling offer? A compelling offer it's something that makes people sit up and say, okay, like that's me. I need that. It's clear to me. A compelling offer does need to be clear, and it needs to be for fixing a specific problem. If your offer doesn't fix a specific problem, if it doesn't provide a huge transformation, like a life transformation, then it's not a compelling offer. You can desire to help new business owners start their business, all day in every way until Sunday, but that's not a compelling offer. There's plenty of new business owners who want to start a business, but have never started one. There's plenty of people who, and this is not just picking on, new business owners. It could potentially be like your offer could potentially be, I help women get into the body of their dreams. Like it's a little bit more compelling, but it's not as compelling because it's not a specific problem. Like the desire to start a business, the desire to get into the body of your dreams, the desire to, find the best relationship is not a problem. It's a desire. Okay. So I'm going to break this down a little bit, because for a lot of you guys, this is going to be like a big aha moment of the difference between an offer that really focuses on the problem rather than the desire. And the desire is great, right? So obviously a lot of you guys are here because you have the desire to make 10K per month, right? So that's fine. that's good for a title for your program. So for example, we have Path to Six Figures. It's a desire-based title. But the problem that we truly solve is deeper than that. And I'm not going to go into that because I don't want to get into talking about the program. But let's continue with the example of someone who wants to, help, someone who's a new business owner to start a business. So their desire is that they want to get started with a business. But until you really figure out like the problem that they're running up against as they go after their desire, you're not going to have a compelling offer. So what is the true problem that that person is butting up against? Is it that they don't know where to start? Is it that they've tried, this thing, but it didn't work for them? Is it that, what is the actual true problem? Is it that they don't have a support system? And so like your offer is a mastermind or a membership, for example. So your offer has to solve the problem that that person is facing as they go towards their desire. And you also want to make sure that they're actually going towards their desire. Like the last thing that you want to do is get into a space of, well, I'm going to help people who want to start a business because wants are plenty. And, just because someone wants to do something doesn't mean they're actually going to do it. Remember, I say all the time, like you deserve to achieve your dreams, but only if you decide to do whatever it takes to get them. Like you have to decide to do and you have to do, right? You can't just want. And so, and that goes for health, relationships, wealth. Those are the three main areas of marketing. It goes for all three of those areas. So if in the area of relationships, someone's like, I really want a relationship, but they haven't come up against a problem, then you're never going to be able to bring them into a compelling offer because the offer has to be focused on the problem that you're solving. So as an example, let's assume that we are doing the relationship example and their desire is they want to be in a relationship. But the problem that they're running up against is that, they're like, oh, we're all the good men or we're all the good women or whatever. So now your offer, even though it could be titled like On My Way to Marriage or whatever, I just made that up. But the offer, what you're actually marketing and what you are not advertising, but what you're marketing and what you're sharing with them is like, this is going to help you figure out where all the good men/women are, right? And that's how you create a compelling offer. Okay. So the compelling offer has to be focused on the problem. So now I can kind of provide the example for the Path to Six Figures program, because the Path to Six Figures is a desire-based title. But the problem that we solve is like, you're trying to get your coaching business going, but you're only getting clients here and there. You're not getting clients consistently. And that's why we created the Path to Six Figures 4-step system. We help you set up the system, right? Like it's difficult to make a sale based on, it's not difficult. Nothing is difficult. Nothing is hard. But what I found is like a much simpler route is to focus on, all right, I know you have this desire, but here's the true problem that you're actually facing. Like, this is why you can't get to that desire. Like you have this desire, which is here, but then there's this gap in between that's preventing you from actually getting there. Okay. All right. Nisi says, I'm a business coach for beauty industry professionals that want to start a business. I want to focus on people who are just starting and fresh out of school and don't have clients. That's absolutely fine. So if that's who you want to begin with and who you start with, that is absolutely fine. But once again, we want to make sure that we're not getting caught up in the people who are more want than will or more want than do. Okay. Celeste says, I want to offer a monthly mastermind membership. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Well, awesome. Patience. I'm glad you were enjoying it. All right. So that's 3 things you need to hit 10K. Compelling offer. All right. You would check that off. That's like one of the first things we do in Path to Six Figures is like, who are you? What's your offer? And we check those off. So make sure that we're clear on like, all right, this is a compelling offer. Second piece is you need to have a compelling offer that you know how to sell, meaning like, you know exactly how to sell it. And this is marketing, it's advertising, it's messaging, it is how you speak about your offer. So just because I have an offer called, what did I call it? On My Way to Marriage. right? And I know the problem that I'm helping people solve is like where to find all the good men / women. That doesn't mean that I know how to actually sell it, because what if the person who wants to get on, the path to on the way to marriage says, I don't have a problem meeting, men, women. Everyone's not going to realize they have the same problem, right? So let's assume, I'm making this up out of the blue. So let's assume that the true problem is that they don't know where to find, or they won't get out there, right? And that's the true problem. And so you've got someone who comes and they're like, but like, I know how to find the right person, but I'm just not, like, they're just not right. And meanwhile, you're thinking like, well, actually, you're not doing XYZ, which is what I show my clients how to do. So if you don't know how to communicate that, you're essentially going to be butting your head up against a brick wall. Like, no, like, this is it. Like, you're trying to shake them and say, no, this is like, you're focused on the wrong thing. You should be focused on this. And like, you're trying to like pull them over, and imagine like trying to like pull a stubborn horse to water, right? Like, or a donkey, like they don't want to go over there. They want to go over here, and they're over here. They're comfortable over here, which is why they're in the problem that they're in, the situation that they're in. So if all day long you're screaming and yelling and shouting and marketing 5 tips to like do this thing that they're supposed to be doing, but they don't think that that's the problem, then there's disconnect, right? You're over here, they're over here, and like there's no sale being made because they don't believe that you have what they need, because they think what they need is over here, and this is what they think their problem is. So this is where a webinar, like I like to call it, an anti-webinar, comes in, because what it does is it bridges the gap between what they currently believe, what they need to realize, and how to now get the thing that they want based on their new beliefs. There's a very distinct process to help someone come to a new realization. And it doesn't happen by you saying, well, actually, you're wrong, but this is right. You have to, essentially, you have to help them come to their realization on their own. And the way that we do that we do it inside of what I like to call an anti-webinar. And it's establishing, certain statements, asking certain questions, sharing, certain client experiences, testimonials, et cetera, et cetera. And what that does, the purpose of it is to bring the person from where they were, over here thinking that they're right, to where they need to be over here on this side. Okay. Arnella says, I started reading the Magic book and I have to start my first day practice today. They said do it 28 days straight. I know I'm off topic, but maybe you read it so you can share it. No, I have not read it. And it is off topic, but I'm happy to come back to it. All right. Yes, Allison has created and done her anti-webinar. It does. It basically gets people to the point where they like come on the phone with you and they're like, okay, well, what do I need to do next? Because now they realize, right? You brought them along that journey. Okay. Exactly. People don't know what they don't know. And your power as a coach is like, you already know what life is like on the other side. Like, what the transformation is, what they need to do, where they need to be, but they don't know, and they don't even realize it. And, instead of trying to like pull them along, once again, it's like, we just simply set it up very simple. And to give you an idea, like a visual of how the anti-webinar works in particular, because I don't want to turn this into like an ad for the program, but if you ever think about like back to when you were a kid and, maybe there was something that you wanted your parents to do. And if this never happened for you, which didn't necessarily happen to me, because if I tried to use this strategy, I probably would have got a whooping. But if you ask your parent for something and then they say no, but then you ask them, but don't you want XYZ? So let me give you an example. So let's say that, you asked your mom, like, hey, mom, can you make pancakes this morning? And she's like, no, I don't feel like making pancakes. Go eat cereal. And then the kid says, but don't you want me to be big and strong? Pancakes have iron and cereal doesn't, and I need a hot breakfast, such and such, such, whatever. And so then the mom's like, well, yeah, I guess I do want you to be big and strong, so I guess I will make pancakes. That's a very simplistic example, but that's essentially what a webinar can do for you, is essentially provides the thought process that the person wasn't thinking before. That it's not like inserting new beliefs for them. It's just allowing them to come to their own conclusion. Some people do, some people don't. Like, everyone doesn't come to the final conclusion that you want them to come to. And if they don't, that's fine. That kind of weeds out the people who are not a right fit. But for the person who does come to that conclusion, they realize it. Now they're open and receptive to actually getting help in the way that you help people. Okay. Hi, Nicole. Thanks for joining from the A. All right. So that's 1 and 2. 3 is, so for the 3 things that you need a compelling offer that you know how to sell, and you need ideal clients who want it. So when I say you need ideal clients who want it, everybody doesn't want when you have to offer. Like, that's okay. It's kind of like when, I don't know if your mom ever said this to you, but my mom would say this to me because I used to be such a people pleaser. And I still am a little bit to an extent. And I would always get so upset when like people in school didn't like me. And she was like, Tisha, everyone is not going to like you. And I was just like, but I like them. Like, I want to be friends with everyone. I want us to all just get along. So everyone doesn't want your coaching offer. There are some people who, might meet me. And even though I have specifically what they need, they might not work with me. They might go work with the next coach. And I'll say this over and over and over again. Like, there's nothing new under the sun. So as much as you think that you might be providing something that's just like, that's never been done before, or that no one else has, or no one else can do, there's likely someone who does exactly what you do. And so that person can go and just go work with the other person. Now, obviously, we do a lot to develop your unique selling proposition and really get clear on like why people should work with you over the other person. But the reason we have to do that is because there are other people out there. So don't think that like you have a lock on what you offer or what you do. Instead, take the time to really focus on why your people need you, right? Your ideal client. So that's the third thing, is like ideal clients who actually want it. And so someone might be an ideal client for me where, they're a coach, they want to create consistent income. They don't have a marketing, like the best people are people who haven't even started putting together a marketing platform where we can just kind of start from scratch and build out their webinar, their emails, and all these other things. But then they also have to actually want it. So we had someone hop on the phone with us before and was like, I don't do emails. So even though she was an ideal client from the standpoint of we could help her, she didn't want it. She didn't want to do emails. Like, well, the system that we do requires emails. That's actually how you got on the phone with us today, is that we sent you an email. So if you don't want to do emails, then you are not a great fit. So when you're thinking about, okay, like, where do I find ideal clients who want what I have to offer? That leads us into the next piece to how to reach 10K per month consistently. Because in general, like if you've already been kind of like talking about your topic and kind of building an audience already, or even, if you've been sharing some sort of content, you probably have some people that are already kind of listening that you just haven't taken the time to actually say, hey, here's how you get it. Because so many people can sell their offer, but they just can't do it more than once. So they'll sell their offer. They'll, have this compelling offer. They know how to sell it, right? They put together the pieces and things in place. And then they've got like maybe a couple of people who sign up that very first time, but then it's like, okay, boom, like now things kind of fade out. And this is part of the reason that this was like really the main reason that I created the Path to Six Figures program, because that was essentially what we were doing inside of You've Got Clients, is we were just creating that one first piece. And that was going to help you boom, like, launch, get out there, get those first couple clients, reach your 10K. When I first worked with Caruana, she went through the You've Got Clients program along with the incubator as well. But she did 10K in 10 days. So it was like great pop of income. People are coming in. But then after that, it's like, okay, now what? And this is the next step, which is the consistency. And what that looks like is consistent people coming through. Like, you wouldn't open a theme park and, open the doors on Monday, then close the doors Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and expect all of the people who came in on Monday to stay all the way through to the next Sunday. Like, as people go out, your income from the rides, I'm thinking of like the roller coaster tycoon game, but like your income from the ride starts going down because you're like, wait, no one's paying money anymore. What's going on? But it's like, well, but the doors are not open. So you don't have a continual flow of people coming in. And so this is where a lot of coaches get tripped up, is like, they don't have a process or a way to bring clients in consistently. So what we did from there is, that was when I developed the automated sales incubator, which is another one. That was the other program that Caruana had invested in. And that's what allows people to start coming in consistently. And then I realized, okay, what do we just put everything together? So I put everything together inside of the Path to Six Figures. So that's kind of a simple summary of what that is. So that was the video I was telling you about. You should definitely watch. I just uploaded her update. I got on the phone with her about a week ago. And we chatted about her results and things that she's been able to do since we first worked together a year plus ago. And she did like $150,000 in 6 days, not 6 months, $150,000 in 6 days. And it's because she knows the process of how to bring clients in consistently. Okay. So now I'm going to share that with you, because you do need a few more pieces to reach 10K per month consistently. Now that you have your compelling offer that you know how to sell, and ideal clients who want it, and you've already tested it, it's done, you launched your webinar for the first time, or maybe you did a live stream, you opened the doors, you did a challenge, whatever it is, like, you got people in for the first time. Now it's time to really crank up the system and go. Okay, let me check the comments to see where we are. Hey, LaTisha, glad to have you here. Connie says, that's cute. I'm the same. Patience says, but why don't they like me? I know, right? I want everybody to like me. I always ask myself, should I choose my potential clients, or should my clients choose me? Are we a good fit mentally, physically, financially? Exactly. Essentially, like, you're interviewing your clients because you've already chosen them, and now you just need to make sure that, like you said, they're a good fit in those 3 places. Thank you, Celso, for the super sticker. Glad that you are enjoying today's session. And thank you, Zara. You've Got Clients is a great program, especially for new coaches. Yep, that's exactly why I rolled it into the Path to Six Figures. I heard that the best avatar might be what you needed 3 years ago. Do you agree? I actually had this question yesterday also. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It could cause you to feel a little bit of imposter syndrome if you are attempting to help someone in an area that wasn't necessarily you 3 years ago, but that's okay. So the example I'll give you is the conversation that I had yesterday with a young lady who is talented at helping business owners open online shops, but she hasn't opened an online shop for herself. And her question was, but I thought I had to offer where I've been, and where I've been is attempting to start a coaching business. So don't I have to like help coaches or someone who wants to start a service-based business? And my answer to her, which is the same thing I'll give to you, is no, not necessarily. If you've got all of these results from helping people set up online shops, your target/ideal client may be a coach because you enjoy working with them, or service-based entrepreneurs, but you don't have to say, I can help you start a coaching business, because you're still in the middle of starting yours, even if you might be a year or so ahead of them. Like, a better spot would be, okay, let's help you set up your online store. And I help coaches set up an online merchandise shop. Now it's much more specific, and it's clearly in line with what you know how to do. Okay. Katrina, you're going to see my reaction too, because when we got on the phone, I told her, I was like, okay, I don't want to hear anything. Let's start recording, and then let's go from there. And so it was my first time hearing the results as well. And I'm just, I'm very, very excited, very proud. And Obviously, financial disclaimer, like everyone is different. So there's no guarantee that, you join any sort of coaching program, course, or work with any mentor and you're suddenly going to make 150K in 6 days. And I will say that every client that I work with is not average. And so average results are for people who take average action. And most of the clients that I work with take outstanding action. And so that's why they get outstanding results. But there's no guarantee on any of that. And I actually personally kind of like that. Like when I sign up with a coach or a mentor, obviously you kind of want them to say like, yeah, you're going to be successful from a confidence standpoint. But I kind of like knowing that there's a blank slate and that I can create what I want, because that's really what I want to do, is like, I want to create my own thing. Like, I don't want them to hold me back. By the way, thank you, Celso, for the super chat. Other ways that you can share your appreciation are by screenshotting. And after you screenshot, share a little Instagram story, tag me at LaTisha Styles TV. I love going into Instagram directly after this and resharing those. And you can even show them my really cool sweater too. I really like this sweater. Yay. You see the little tiger, whatever that is, wolf looks like. I was raised by the wolves. All right, let's keep going. Hi, Ken. Thank you for joining. All right, so now we're in the second half, which shouldn't take too long because I'm just going to kind of skim through this. But here are the remaining pieces you need to reach 10K per month consistently, okay? You need to have a platform where you're regularly engaging with your audience. Now I'm talking about an online business owner, okay? I'm not talking about a brick and mortar business. I'm not talking about an e-commerce store owner. I do not work with those types of businesses. So obviously I'm speaking for the types of clients that I work with. And that means you need to have a platform where you regularly engage your potential and ideal clients. What does that look like? Well, that could be YouTube, that could be Facebook, that could be Instagram, TikTok, Clubhouse. Like, it doesn't really matter what the platform is. All that matters is that you are regularly producing content and creating content. You don't have to recreate the wheel. I think this is like the third or fourth time that I've talked about how to reach 10K in a month. But every time it's different because I'm a different person. Every time I show up, right? This is LaTisha from February 20th, 2021. Nothing like the LaTisha from February 19th of 2021. She is completely different. So it doesn't matter if you're talking about the same topic. You just need to have a platform where you regularly engage. So for me, that's YouTube. I love creating YouTube videos. I love doing these live streams every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And so this is my place to regularly engage. I do post on Instagram. I share IG stories here and there. But as far as like where I'm actually chatting with you guys and like having conversations, it's right here on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Connie. Aw, you guys are sweet. Y'all are giving me all the feels today. Thank you, Ken. Okay, so that's the first thing. You have to have a platform where you regularly engage. Okay. Second thing, you have to have a way to exchange value. And this is not dollars yet. Okay. This is just to exchange value, meaning I've got a way for you to take things further and learn more from a free standpoint. Like, let's just test the waters. Like, just give me your email address or your phone number, and I'll text you, I'll text you something or email you something for free. And there's no strings attached. If you don't like it, if you don't like me, if you don't want to hear from me anymore, you just hit subscribe. You're not out any dollars or any, duckies from your pocket. It's like, it's absolutely fine. Okay. So that's the second thing that you need in order to reach 10K per month consistently, is you need a way to exchange value. What does this look like from a practical standpoint? This is a lead magnet. This is a freebie. This is a, maybe a workshop that you did. This is a PDF, a checklist, whatever it is. Doesn't really matter. But what does matter, and this is kind of getting into the weeds a little bit more, but it needs to be congruent with your compelling offer. And there's a couple of kind of like check points. I guess I can just dive into those really quick. For your free offer, not only does it need to be congruent, meaning if I download your free offer, like, is the person downloading your free offer likely to want your compelling offer, right? Like your final high ticket offer. If it's not true, if you are, providing a freebie of, 15 Instagram story templates, but your final offer is, how to go on a date. I just made that up. Like, it's not congruent. Does that make sense? But if it's 15 Instagram story post templates, and then at the end of your funnel, right, the end of the journey, the compelling offer is, how to get clients from Instagram or something like that, that's congruent, right? And then, so you need to have a platform where you're engaging with your clients. You need to have a way to exchange value. And then finally, you need to have a way to establish buyers, okay? You need to have a way to establish buyers. Welcome, Chrissy, and good morning. And what does that look like? Well, a buyer is a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. So let me explain that, but let me go through these questions really quickly, and we'll get to that. How do you nurture leads? You give them as much as they need in order to make a decision, but not more than they need. And I know that's kind of general, but it's kind of like feeding a baby, right? Or feeding a cat. You can go with that. If you give them too much food, like, they don't know when to stop. So you have to be the one that says, okay, this is how much you need in order to make the decision, right? So that's how you nurture. That's how you would nurture lead. And from a practical standpoint, you can do that with email, video, an email sequence. I nurture leads with this weekly live stream. So people come into my world, they join me, and then, they suddenly decide that this is the place they want to be. Exactly. Just like Nicole said, when you realize you found your coach, she's saying, I was raised by the wolves, and also about a week ago. Yes, I do randomly burst out in song every now and then. Ken, reaching 10K can be easy. All right. And anytime there's a statement that is presented as fact, like reaching 10K is not easy, that's a statement that's presented as fact. The first thing you want to evaluate is, does that statement serve me, or do I want it to be true? If you want it to be true, fine, keep saying it. If you don't want it to be true, then you just need to reframe it just a little bit. Reaching 10K can be easy, right? It can be easy. And I know I can learn how to do it, right? So that's how you can take the power out of that statement. Right, exactly. Because like Connie just mentioned, that's a mindset. So it's a statement that was presented as fact, but does not necessarily have to be true. Okay. And I'm glad that you are really enjoying my message. All right. How important is it to be on multiple platforms as a new coach? As a business owner, as anyone, it's not important. Be on the platform that you enjoy and the one that brings you, like the one that energizes you the most, and you'll find your people, and then you can do what you want. And then if at any point I was like, hey, you guys, I'm going to do a session on Clubhouse. Well, now I've got, you guys that are already here, and I can tell you to join me on Clubhouse. So I don't need to create different platforms to engage. Like, y'all like YouTube. I like YouTube. Yay! Congratulations, Cami. She said, I just received a sale for my Facebook ad. Congratulations. I do need to go back and add my sales page though. If it's working already, then don't worry about it. Cami also joined us in the automated sales incubator, so I'm very proud of her. Yep, absolutely. Words matter. Okay, great. So now we can do the last piece. I've gone through all of the questions and I'm all caught up, which is to establish a buyer. So you only need 3 things to reach 10K in a month: a compelling offer that you know how to sell, and ideal clients that want it. And you need 4 pieces to reach 10K per month consistently. And I'm going to paste those in the chat right now. Okay. You need 4 pieces. You need a platform where you regularly engage your clients. You need to have a way to exchange value. You have to have a way to establish buyers. And we've already talked about enroll, which is a compelling offer that you know how to sell and ideal clients who want it. So how do you establish your buyers? We're similar to what Cami has done is, create an ad or create a piece of content that might be a free piece of content, but on the back end of that content, you're offering a course, a program, some way that they can take it further, but it's essentially the next step, right? So the very first time that you buy from a business, you don't necessarily buy like 2 bags full of stuff. So perfect example, this sweater is from Desigual. It's one of my favorite stores. I feel like their clothing is like art personified, right? So, and the name Desigual literally means we are not alike, right? In Spanish, disequal. And so I love the idea of it. I love the clothing. I love the fact that, you go in and there's like quirky things that really don't match, but like, because you're wearing it, like you can make it work. The first time I went into Desigual, I tried on a pair of shorts, didn't buy them because I didn't have the money at the time. And that's another story. But when I went back, like I bought like maybe 3 sweaters, right? So I didn't go in and like, okay, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to buy this and I'm going to buy this. And since then I've spent almost, I'd say maybe like $1,000 at Desigual, like buying sweaters and I've got mostly sweaters because I just love they call them jumpers, but I love their sweaters. And so like I've spent a good bit of money, but the very first time I didn't go in and like $3,000 on the table, like, let's just buy it all. Right. And so, but there are some people that will do that. So my point is that it's the same for your business. Like you're going to have some people who come in and they're like, oh, I just want to like try on the shirt and then leave. Okay. Those are the people that you got email addresses for in this example. And then you might have some people that come in and they're like, well, I'm going to buy a sweater. And those are the people that, maybe purchase your mini course, right? And that's fine. And then you've got people that come in and they're like, hey, here's $5,000. I want, like, just dress me, right? Those are your people who already know that they want to work with you as as their coach. And then they sign up for your highest level or one of your highest level coaching packages, whether they pay in full or split pay or whatever it is. So the idea behind the establishing a buyer is like, we want to give people an opportunity to feel good about their decision, even if it's a small decision at first. The small decision might be, all right, well, I'm going to buy this sweater. Okay, let's get off of the clothes example, but the small decision might be, okay, I'm going to buy this mini course. I'm going to buy this, lower ticket item and really be able to pat myself on the back to say like, either I went through it or I feel like I made a good decision and I'm happy to be in this person's world, right? Now, once you've established a buyer, what this does for you is it allows you to follow up with them in a little bit of a different way. And you can be maybe a little bit more aggressive. And let me take back the word aggressive and say assertive instead, because aggressive would be like relentless. But the way that I do it, once I establish a buyer, is I'm fairly assertive and I say, hey, thanks for making a purchase. I want to invite you to hop on a call. And I can't do that, or I can, but I don't do that with someone who's just provided an email address, like someone who's just done the exchange value. I only do that for someone who has established that they are a buyer. I'm like, okay, you bought one sweater. Like, let's talk about this. Let's talk about like, what are some other things that you might like in the store? And let's figure out how we can help you get on the path to 6 figures, for example. Okay. So those are the 4 things that you need. And you might notice, if you haven't already, that I have a full training on the 4-step client gaining system where I talk about each step, which is engage, exchange, establish, enroll. I really like alliteration. So, a platform that you can engage on, being able to exchange that value, establishing who your buyers are, and then being ready and prepared to enroll them into a compelling offer that you know how to sell. Okay. Questions. Do you suggest a different method for those who want to do open and closed enrollment? I do not. So if you want to do open and close enrollment, you can do it the exact same way that I did, which is like all right, enrollment's closed and our next round is starting on February 22nd, which is true. Like in 2 days, we have new clients that are starting, and there's only a certain number of spots. So it was like, you can wait until February 22nd, but there's no guarantee that all of those spots are going to be there by then. So, that's the way that I would do that. So if you have open and closed enrollment, there's no need to change up the method. You can still have consistent content going, because what's going to happen is, like, you're not going to close every person that you get on the phone. So, it's better to have those conversations, even if the program is closed at the moment. And you're like, okay, well, we're getting started again on this date. Well, fine. Then they either invest right then, or they say, okay, I'll follow up with you, at that time. Like, there's no pressure when you have a system that you can continually bring in potential clients. Like, it's such a weight off of your shoulders. Refraining gives the back to you. I'm not sure what we were talking about when you posted that. Reframing. It gives the power back to you. Yes, when you reframe the statement.